Welcome back, everyone. In the last video, we learned about the ChangeEvent handler and the receiving of HTML input elements as an argument for what this function defines. Now, this function by default returns void, which is what ChangeEvent handler assumes you're going to do. You don't need to return anything because it's not expecting you to receive anything. But if for some reason you wanted on your change handler to actually register some type of return, for whatever reason, another way that you can actually define this function is you can bring in the ChangeEvent. ChangeEvent is the event definition instead of the actual function definition. And what this means is that you can define your own function definition. So you can say, I'm going to give you some function where I expect to receive the event of ChangeEvent, where the ChangeEvent is registered to HTML input element. If you remember earlier, when we looked at the actual ChangeEvent handler, when we hovered over the parameter, we noticed that we were receiving the ChangeEvent as well, where we were passing the actual type. So before we do that and take a look at that, I'm just also going to now explicitly return void, because that's what this function does. If you want to return something else, though, again, you could put something here like your Boolean or your string or whatever this ChangeEvent you happen to return for whatever reason. This is just another way that you can define this. But going back to this ChangeEvent, I also want to bring in this ChangeEvent handler. And I just want to show this side by side so we really understand what's happening here. So when I hover over ChangeEvent handler, again, we receive some generic t, which is equal to an element. And then that gets passed to ChangeEvent. So essentially, this is ChangeEvent. ChangeEvent here is expecting some value t in order for us to tell it what type of HTML element this ChangeEvent is for. So really, this function that we see right here is really just us typing it out like so, more manually. That's really just something I wanted to highlight to you. If you wanted to define your own function, normally, if you look at this actual definition and you see that there's a ChangeEvent that is being defined in the actual function type definition, you can use that very easily as well and write your own function definition so you get more granular control, such as if you wanted to pass back or return some specific type, or if you wanted to even add additional parameters for some reason. Again, this main idea is that oftentimes, when it comes to typing with third-party libraries, you really just got to read the types. It gives you a better idea of what the functions do, but it also gives you more granular control with your typing as well. And this becomes especially important as we start interacting with more and more third-party libraries. So that's it. I just wanted to highlight to you that there are numerous ways that you can type out these third-party interactive parameters that you're passing. So here, let's just use the ChangeEvent so that we can be more explicit in what we see. So with that, let's type the rest of our project.